Here. Also with us are our committee officer, Holly Weaver and Nimka Mahuddin, who will be monitoring all of our connections and help with any technical issues we may have. Before we start the hearing for this case, just a few ground rules. Please keep your microphones on mute until you're invited to speak. And please make sure mobile phones are on silent. Do keep your cameras on when not speaking if you wish, unless we run into connection problems. Please note that the Microsoft Teams chat function is not monitored, so please do not use it. In addition, this is a public meeting and the chat would not be seen in the live stream. Everyone should have received the procedure for this meeting regarding the use of cameras and how to connect back if you lose connection. Thank you. The case before us today is to consider a temporary event notice for Pig and Whistle Public House, 92 to 94 Bramley Road, London, W10 6UG. Now for declarations of interest. I confirm that I have no declaration of interest to make regarding this item. Do other members have any declarations to make? Councillor Knight? Councillor Knight?
Sorry, I was on mute. No declarations from me.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Noor?
No, I have no interest in this case, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Election of a substitute chair. The quorum of this committee is 2, as there is always the possibility that I may lose connection temporarily during the broadcast. I am nominating Councillor Knight to be appointed as a substitute chair. Members, please confirm whether this nomination is seconded. Councillor Noor?
Seconded, please.
Thank you very much indeed. I can confirm that Councillor Knight has been nominated a substitute chair. Thank you, colleagues. Procedure. For clarity, I will outline the procedure of the meeting, which is already mentioned, has been circulated with the papers and are online. First, the licensing officer, Mr. Phelan, will give a brief outline of the temporary event notice. Please could you confirm your attendance?
Good morning, Chair. Paul Phelan from Licensing. I'm present.
Thank you. Then I will ask the applicant, Ms. Anne Maher, to present her submission. She will give up to maximum of 10 minutes to do so. Please could you confirm your attendance? Ms. Anne Maher?
Yeah, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Then questions may be asked by members of the committee and the legal officer of the applicant. Then questions may be asked by noise and nuisance of the applicant. Next, noise and nuisance, Mr. Keith Mahaffey will present his objection. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes to do so. Please could you confirm your attendance?
Good morning, Madam Chairman. Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Then questions may be asked by members of the committee and the legal officer of noise and nuisance. Then questions may be asked by the applicant of noise and nuisance. After this, we will ask our legal officer, Ms. Lemassiere, to deal with any further questions she may have. Please could you confirm your attendance?
Present, Chair.
Thank you. And then finally, we will turn to the governance team to see if any issues have been raised that we need to consider. There will be no summing up and the committee will adjourn for a short period to make their decision. and then we will reconvene to announce our decision. It will show up on the screen, so yeah, and we know. But it will be between 15 and 30 minutes after the end of this. Yeah, I would like to remind everyone that the committee has read the papers which comprise the main which comprise the main pack, and so there is no need to repeat their content. Please do draw attention to certain points and pages, and governance will move the document on the screen for us. Let's get going. I'm going to turn my camera off just so we can all get involved. Mr. Phelan, could you please outline the matter for us? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Ms Mayer has submitted a temporary event notice to hold a temporary licensable event during Notting Hill Carnival. The event will utilise the beer garden at the Pig and Whistle, which is located at 92 to 94 Bramley Road, London, W10 6UG. As part of this temporary event notice, Ms Mayer is seeking permission to provide alcohol sales both on and off the premises and to offer regulated entertainment between midday and 7 p.m. on Sunday the 25th of August and Monday the 26th of August 2024. A copy of the temporary event notice can be found at Appendix A of the report. This notification has attracted an objection from Mr Keith Mahaffey, a Principal Noise and Nuisance Officer for RBKC, on the grounds of public safety. A full copy of Mr Mahaffey's representation can be found at Appendix C of today's report. That effectively concludes a summary of this notification, Chair. I'll leave it there for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for the applicant's case. Ms Maher, please can you present your submission and advise if there has been any additional documentation received. Please do turn your camera on if you like. You have up to 10 minutes to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I don't know if the camera's... doesn't seem to be coming on. I don't know if it's me.
If you're happy with that,
it's fine.
If you're happy with that.
Thank you. Basically, it is very controlled. We did do a trial last year, which I wasn't aware that we should have had a temporary events notice for. We'd absolutely no problems. It was we had 6 doormen in total, and there was nothing. And we've never had any problems during Notting Hill Carnival. It's a ticketed event, and we did originally apply till 9 p.m. But then after speaking to the licensing team, we were put back to 7 p.m, which was fine. We said that was okay. And then I got a phone call to say that Mr. Keith Mulcahy had objected to environmental health. So I'm just really not sure, as we've never had any problems, anything, and it's just really a good day or 2 days. So I just, as I said, I don't understand it. Why we've been denied. So after that, I can't say much more, really. It is controlled, as I said. We have plenty of staff and plenty of doormen, and it is ticketed, and it will stop at the times that we've stated. So that's it. Thank you.
That's it. Okay, thank you so much. Now, any questions from the committee? Councillor Knight?
Can you just talk to us a bit more about the trial that you ran, you're saying last year? Just be good to sort of understand the type of event it was, the amount of people, just so we can kind of compare it to what is being proposed now.
Yeah, it was the music played in the beer garden, and we had like a makeshift bar for this. And as I said, it was just a really good atmosphere. There was no, once the garden had that amount of people in, the doormen don't let anyone in. It's controlled through the back area. We have one front door open with our doormen, and at the side gate to come in, and that is the only access in and out. So, as I said, we didn't have any problems whatsoever. And it's just music playing and people generally just dancing, just, in good spirits and whatever. That's.
And was that during Carnival? Or,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And a similar amount of people to 200 that you're proposing this time?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just check if I've got any other. And so in terms of the ticketing and the doors, people were coming through the front and then also the side gate, which I think is what, there's sort of the alley down the side, if that makes sense.
That's it. And this side gate just has access for this only. The police are normally have that road closed. It's only a small side street, Bletchley Street. Police are there, and it's just the side entrance coming in along.
Yeah.
And haven't got a ticket, they're not coming in.
Yeah.
And
what? Sorry, I'm cutting.
And by the front door, there is no access for the garden. It's only for customers coming into the pub. It's not. They're not allowed.
Not for the garden. Okay. And in terms of music-wise, how is it? Live music or is it sort of
it's
recorded music?
It's all tracks from
Tracks. Okay.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
like that type of music.
Thanks. I think I'm good for the moment, but I'll have a think. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And Councillor Noor, any questions?
Thank you, Chair. I have a few questions. Lisa, you said it's ticketed. So how this been advertised in terms of people buying tickets?
It's been done online through the guy that's actually playing the music.
Okay.
And they come from they could be from Brighton. He's a lot of friends himself, and it's mostly
Sure.
those people.
You also mentioned you have a 6 doorman on the day from that would be from 12 to 7 o'clock.
They start at 12 and they won't finish till everybody is off the premises. We normally close earlier on carnivals anyway, but once the music finishes, the people move pretty quickly.
Sure. I mean, considering this is the a day before Carnival on Carnival Day, and we all know there'll be massive number of, even though your event is ticketed and you can only come in if you have a ticket, there'll be loads of people in the streets. So your big garden, nobody will access unless they have ticket.
That's right.
And how do you carry out for the age verification? Because
they check IDs, handbags. Anyone with handbags is checked for bottles because it's plastics only. You know, there's no one coming in bringing in bottles or anything like that, and ID has to be shown.
Will your beer will be sold in you know the plastic cups or differently?
No, plastic cups.
Excellent. All right. So in terms of controlling measures in terms of the safety of those who are attending, I mean, I know, and you mentioned, it's police coordinated, so the next roads to the premises are closed by the police.
Yes.
So apart from having those supervisors, do you have first aid qualified in place?
We have, yeah, a couple of our staff actually have done first aid and everything, and we have all the stuff, the bags with everything in it. So if something was to happen, you know, we could be on it pretty quickly. And I would be controlling the back area myself where the sale of alcohol is.
I think my final question at this time will be, I mean, on the bill, it said you had an event back in early May, which has created a report of, you know, the noise and nuisance and complaint from the neighbors. Can you explain a little bit? I mean, how do you ensure that?
As I said, normally around this area are not around on the carnival weekend. But there's just I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I said there's one lady for instance, that's moved in above the shop next door, and she's been there about a year. I know she's complained about everything. Doesn't matter if the door bangs, there's, you know, she complains. Now we did get a fine for this, which I paid promptly, but I wasn't aware on the day. It was a 10 to 5 in the evening that the noise was measured in an apartment around there. So, as I said, that was the first I was aware of it. Had somebody have come to me on that day, I would have got the music turned down, but nobody did.
I think, Chair, for the time being, that's the question that I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd just like to follow up with that. Do you have maybe a better relation with some of your neighbours so they can actually just come and
Yes.
speak to you, give you a call, WhatsApp, whatever, now, since then?
Yeah, particularly on Bletchton Street there, which is where the beer garden entrance is. The neighbours there are lovely. If there's a problem, or, you know, I got on quite well with them. You know, some of them had scratches on cars and that. So, you know, they will come over and talk to me. It's just there's one person that I'm very aware of that's just complains about everything, and there's not a lot I can do. We've tried to, you know, tell her, okay, we turn down the music, even for just a disco on a Friday or Saturday night. So,
yeah, I was going to follow up. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry,
yeah.
Go on.
They have the measures for the music in place now, so that can be almost.
Yeah. And did you do any other follow-up actions since that 8th of May?
No.
Okay, so just monitoring the music.
Yeah, that's
it. And you're going to definitely, just to reiterate, you're going to have 6 doormen for the 200 people, right?
Yeah, right, yes. Front and back.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to move on now. Thank you. Any questions from our legal officer?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, can you just clarify for me? So you were talking about an event taking place where you didn't realise you needed a temporary event notice. When was that event? When did that event occur?
On the last Notting Hill Carnival last year on the Sunday. They said, I didn't look into it, it's my own fault, but I wasn't aware that we couldn't have something on the premises without asking for permission, because we've never done it in the past, never applied.
So it was just on the Sunday of last year's Notting Hill Carnival. And what hours were you operating from? Was it in the rear garden playing music?
Again, it was I think it was from 1 p.m. until 9, but the licensing team came at 8:30 and we stopped it.
Okay, so licensing 8:30.
Yeah.
And stopped. Okay, and that was, you had a pop-up bar in the garden, and you're on and off selling alcohol, and you were playing music. Okay,
that's right.
So in terms of I know it's been touched on, in terms of the music that's going to be played in the rear garden this time, sorry, did you say it was just recorded music, or are there going to be like live singers?
No, recorded music.
Recorded music, okay. And when the ticketed event closes at, I think you said, did you say 7 o'clock this time? When the ticketed event closes, what's going to happen to the pub garden? Because at the moment, under your existing licence, presumably the main pub, the inside, won't close. Will you be reopening the garden once everyone's vacated, so that people can consume alcohol in the pub garden like they ordinarily do after the ticket event's closed? Yeah.
Well, I know from last year's experience, a lot of people left straight away. We're right next door to the tube station, so they just go. But there's a few inside, and depending on how many is around, we close the bar and really start getting cleared up. It just depends. But,
so just to be clear, sorry, your existing inside premises licence is until 11 p.m. or 10:30 on a Sunday. So are you saying that the ordinary part of the pub, not the beer garden, is going to close early that day as well?
No, we normally close every year by about 9 p.m, 9:30.
Okay. So after 7 p.m, when everybody leaves the garden because the temporary event notice has stopped, will you then be allowing people inside the pub to just consume alcohol that they've purchased inside the pub in the garden? Will people be allowed access back in the garden after that?
Well, from the pub. At the moment, we do have people sitting out there, but as I said, it just depends on the type of people that are there and that. But our regular customers, might go out there. As I said, a lot. And then, having said that, a lot of our regular customers don't be around over Notting Hill Carnival.
Okay.
So just really have to play it by ear, but that we will try and clear it as quick as possible.
Okay. Fine. Okay, I think that's it for now. I mean, that we can ask, if necessary, we can ask further questions. Thank you for the moment. Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you. Now, any questions from noise and nuisance?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Right, can you, Ms. Mayor, can you please, if I was to say to you, your premises is not within the carnival footprint, would you accept that?
Well, it's the nearest tube station. So we do, People
But
pass.
it's not within the carnival area.
I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of floats pass up. You know,
Yeah, but it's the parade doesn't go near it.
it
You have
goes
floats
past.
the floats that set up and basically go and join the carnival route.
That's right.
There's no stalls, no authorized stalls. There's no authorized sound systems in the area, so it's not part of the carnival area. Isn't that correct?
Well, I've never looked at it like that, but as I said, I just see a lot of people every year and floats going past.
That's yes, but that's not part of the full carnival area. The carnival area is over to the other side of Ladbroke Grove. Okay. The next question I'd like to ask is that on the 25th of May this year, we witnessed 2 breaches of the abatement notice that was served on you for a temporary event notice for exactly the same situation that you are applying for under this temporary event notice. What are your thoughts on that, please?
As I said, well, I wasn't aware on the day that this had all happened. It was after this that we were handed a letter. 2 letters actually were handed in to the pub, and that's when I was aware. Like, no one came to us that day to say you're disturbing a neighbour, anything.
And what are you proposing to do to make sure that you don't create nuisance to your neighbours by this event?
Well, there will be a noise level, and it will finish at 7 p.m. And the noise in the area on that day, it's not just from the Pig and Whistle. You have horns blowing, there are people going past, music blaring. It's not just from the Pig and Whistle.
Yes, I'm not disputing that, but I'm saying is, what are you going to do to ensure that your neighbours are not caused nuisance?
As I said, we'll keep it to a level. And
what will that level be? How will you do that?
I think they do it by decimals or something. That's the way it's been explained to me.
Yes, but if you don't know what you're doing, then how are you going to do it?
Well, the guy that's doing the music, he knows all about it and has explained to me that it's something to do with decimals and all that. So I said, I'm not up on it, but I know our DJ that we have on Friday and Saturday, he is the same thing.
Well, I would have very much concerns about that, but I will explain that in my submission when I'm allowed to speak. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman.
Thank you.
Now for noise and nuisances case. Mr. Mahaffey, can you please present your submission? Please do turn your camera on if you like. You have up to 10 minutes to thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. What I would say here is that we have a series of severe nuisances that have arisen. We don't serve abatement notices lightly. We have now served an abatement notice and we've had a breach. The abatement notice was served on the 13th of February of this year. It was served on Miss Maher and Mr. O'Sullivan, who actually operate the business. We had the breach on the 25th. Now, the situation on the 25th, we went on 2 occasions. The music was excessively loud. It was very loud in people's flats. We've got blocks of flats next door to it, as well as accommodation in neighbouring properties with flats across the road. And clearly, the premises is not an ideal location for a loud sound system. The potential for public nuisance as well as statutory nuisance is very high. And we have evidence that there was a statutory nuisance from an exactly same event that is being proposed on the premises on the 25th of May this year. Now, clearly, I have not got any comfort in what Ms. Maher has said this morning to confirm to me that she's going to make steps to basically prevent it happening. The background levels are not significantly elevated with Carnival. There is a higher background level in the distance, but if you are in people's properties, you will hear the Carnival, but you will not. It will not be at such a level to basically eclipse the noise from a sound system in Miss Maher's garden. I do consider that if this event goes forward, we're not only going to get a public nuisance, we're also going to get a statutory nuisance. And clearly we have breaches of this notice in place, and clearly we cannot permit it to continue. We have a duty under the Licensing Act to promote the prevention of public nuisance key objective, and to permit this 10 would not do so, because there is nothing that Ms Maher or her sound engineer or DJ can do that's going to stop sound being generated at a high volume in an open car park. It will not be enclosed by a building. It will be done on the exterior, and it will basically be reflected to the nearest neighbouring properties. And I would very much be of the opinion that if we went along there and we witnessed it on this occasion, it will be a statutory nuisance, and it will be to a detriment of the neighbours. We have to get a balance at Carnival. Carnival is not a right for everybody to make noise. It's a balance between people's right of enjoyment and the event going forward. The premises are not in the Carnival area, and as such, they are well away from it. They are screened from the Carnival area by the elevated railway line. And in our opinion, basically, we have to ensure that we do not extend the Carnival area outside what is already there. We don't permit sound systems outside the Carnival area, and in our view, that this will be another sound system outside the Carnival area, which we would not want. I therefore submit, Madam, we have a responsibility here to promote the licensing objective, and to grant this temporary event notice would not promote the licensing objective, and we would have not only a statutory nuisance, but we'd also have a severe public nuisance created to residents. I therefore request that the counter notice is served. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, any questions from the committee? Councillor Knight?
Can you talk to us a bit more? Sorry, can you hear me? Hopefully.
Yes, madam, I can.
Don't know why my camera is not really going normal, but hopefully you can hear me. Can you just talk to us a bit more about the abatement notice that was served, and sort of your experience of why you feel so strongly about this particular venue? Just to kind of understand. I completely hear what you're saying about Carnival and the proximity, but just to understand a bit more about what happened, and why you have kind of your main concerns.
We don't serve an abatement notice for a one-off breach. For a statutory nuisance. We write to people, we work with people, we tell them that there's a statutory nuisance, we explain to them what they need to do, we give them every opportunity to comply with the requirements, and if the problem continues, then that's when we serve an abatement notice. This notice wasn't served on a one-off, this notice was served because we have a number of complaints. And on the 25th of May, we have probably about 6 or 7 residents who complained to us about loud music in the property. We went along twice and witnessed statutory nuisance people's property. The temporary event notice was meant to finish at 9 o'clock, and we were there at 10:15 in the evening, and the music was still playing. So there are issues with the management of the premises, and clearly we have concerns with regards to the level at which this music was being played in the premises, and it's getting that balance right here. You know, people have a right to quiet enjoyment, but they also have a right to carry on playing music and undertaking their licensable activities, but not in such a way that they are so loud that they're going to cause nuisance to neighbours. And this is what we've experienced on so many occasions in these premises.
Okay, thank you very much. That's really helpful. Thank you, Councillor Burns. I think that's my main question.
Thank you. Councillor Noor?
I think it's, thank you, Chair. It's a similar line. I mean, what level of noise is permissible? Because I've asked the applicant about the noise control, and they said my technician knows the level. I mean, can you guide us through what level of noise is acceptable to neighbors or residents, like this kind of
sound and statutory nuisance and public nuisance are subjective assessments, because it's not the level, it's how long does the music go on for, what does the level include. If I was to play pure bass to you, you would find that very, very disturbing. A lower level of pure bass will have more disturbance than a higher level of high frequencies. It comes down to basically how does that level of sound intrude on somebody's right of enjoyment of their property. Now, the problem we've had at these premises is the fact that they've played their music too loud. They don't know how the level of sound will infect residents, but at the same time, they played music so loud that it caused a severe problem. And it's not a level, it's the intrusive nature of the sound and how it interferes with somebody's enjoyment of their property. And they should not be listening to pure bass, boom, boom, booming all the time in their property, as they did on the previous occasions when we've witnessed the breach of the abatement notice as well as the statutory nuisance.
Thank you. That's the only question I have, Chair.
Thank you. So I just have one sort of follow-up. Since I think it was the 8th of May when they were served the 10, have they been in breach of anything else since then, you know, and including then? Possibly have they resolved the situation?
There has been no, from my understanding, we haven't had any further complaints since the 25th of May. But the fact is, they have a license on the property. They have noise controls on their license. They have a limiter on the premises. But it's when they take the music out of the premises and they play it in the back garden or in the beer garden or car park at the back, that's when these problems arise. And this is what they're asking for in this 10. And clearly there is nothing to contain the sound that wouldn't give rise to a nuisance.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go on now. Now, any questions from our legal officer?
Yes, sorry, can I just have some clarity? So when I spoke to Ms. Maher, she said that they carried out, well, without the benefit of a 10, but she did in at last carnival, which was August 23. But then you're referring to an event that took place in, was it May 24? So can you explain the difference? Sorry, what events triggered the abatement notice and the dates? Because I'm a bit confused with the August 23 and the May 24 dates.
We have a number of complaints about various events taking place on the premises. 17th of December was the first complaint we had, and we witnessed loud amplified music in people's property. It was coming directly from the premises. Doors were open, music was too loud. We have another complaint on the 2nd of January, or 12th of February, sorry.
What year? What year are you talking about? December 23 or? 23,
yes.
All right, 17th December 23, then, sorry, carry on.
And then with the 9th of February, complaints. Yep. And then we served the abatement notice on the 13th of February this year.
So were you aware of the August 23, the event taking place at last carnival then? Without the 10?
We weren't. When I spoke with residents, they didn't realise that they could contact us. Now that they can't, they know what what the requirements of the legislation are. We expect them to contact us.
Okay.
And clearly, the fact is that we didn't get complaints last carnival, but we've had complaints. We've had a breach of we've served an abatement notice. We've had a breach of abatement notice for an exactly similar circumstances as what is applied for in this 10. There's no way that Ms. Maher can contain that sign without causing nuisance.
So so in relation to the breach of the abatement notice, did you prosecute? Did you do a fixed penalty notice?
We served a fixed penalty notice, and that was £400, which if paid within 14 days was £240. Ms. Maher paid that to discharge her liability with regard to that breach of the abatement notice. If she breaches the abatement notice with this event, then we will probably go forward with the prosecution. And the other option too, we would need to probably consider doing a premises license review if this continues. You know, at the end of the day, we have a duty to investigate. We also have a responsibility to serve an abatement notice as and when a statutory nuisance has occurred. And we've done that. We've fulfilled our legal responsibility. But at the same time, we cannot permit a public nuisance to continue to occur if there is bad management and an unsatisfactory situation set up whereby they are putting speakers outside the premises and causing nuisance to their neighbours.
Okay, just trying to think if there's any other questions. So obviously the abatement notice was served under separate legislation, which is the Environmental Protection Act, which is a statutory nuisance, and
Yes.
it's separate from granting a temporary event notice under the Licensing Act, which we're looking at today. I mean, obviously it's an option for the councillors not to serve a council notice, which would mean that the event could go ahead if as requested. But obviously you're saying that if the event does go ahead and if officers attend and they regard it to be a statutory nuisance again, obviously, again, that's an objective assessment based on noise levels, etc., then you may well prosecute or possibly bring a review as an option.
Those are options that we have, but what I would say to you is that we know that the event on the 25th of May this year, which is exactly what she is proposing to do on this occasion, gave rise to statutory nuisance, and to permit this temporary event notice to go forward would not be promoting the prevention of public nuisance key objective. And on that basis, that is the reason why I would be requesting a counter notice to be served to prevent this event taking place.
Thank you. I think that's all the questions I've got, unless the committee might want to ask Ms Maher if she wants to comment on, because she mentioned the August 23 event, whereas Mr Mahaffey was referring to the event in May 24.
Yeah.
Ms Maher, do you have any comments on that?
No, as I said, nobody approached us on that day. That's what concerns me. So had we been approached, we would have turned music down, or I would have made sure, but we weren't approached.
Okay, so just to be clear, at one day of Carnival last year, you had music and alcohol served without a temporary event notice, but it wasn't picked up on by Environmental Health. And then obviously you had this temporary event in May of this year, which then gave rise to, which then breached the abatement notice, and which is why Mr Mahaffey is now objecting. Is that correct?
That's right.
Thank you. Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now, any questions from the applicant? Anne Maher.
No, that's fine. I think I've heard everything.
Okay. Thank you. At this stage, I'd like to ask our legal officer to deal with any further queries she may have.
I think I've covered them already, but thank you.
I think so. And our licensing officers, anything to add?
Nothing from licensing, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. And our governance officers, anything to add?
Nothing. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. We have reached the end of this meeting. The committee now has all the information needed, and we will retire to make our decision in a private session. We will reconvene this hearing after half an hour, 30 minutes, to verbally announce our decision. A summary determination will also be sent to the parties later today, and the full decision will follow as soon as possible thereafter. The time limit for appealing the decision will not commence until the full decision has been sent to the parties. Thank you all for attending, and this meeting is now closed.
Thank you.
So, Chair, shall we reconvene at 12:40 back here then?
Yes, 12:40 we shall reconvene and announce the decision. Thank you. This hearing is now closed.
Thank you. from Anne Marr.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. So the committee has considered an objection from the Environmental Health to a temporary event notice 10, which has been given by Miss Anne Maher, the premises user, for the sale of retail of by retail of alcohol on and off the premises, and the provision of regulated entertainment by means of the playing of recorded music at the above premises. So Pig and Whistle Public House, 92 to 94 Bramley Road, London, W10 6UG. On Sunday, the 25th of August, 2024, and Monday, the 26th of August, 2024, between the hours of 12 and 1900 hours. The event for the maximum number of 200 people at any one time. The committee has considered the committee papers and the submissions made by the parties, both orally and in writing. In reaching its decision, the committee has been regarded to the relevant legislation, the Secretary of State's guidance, and the authority's statement of licensing policy, SLP. In summary, the committee decided, after taking into account all the individual circumstances of the case and the prevention of public nuisance and licensing objective, to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003 for the event. This notice means permission for the licensable activities requested in the 10 has not been approved. The committee decided that allowing the 10 would, in this instance, undermine the prevention of public nuisance licensing objective, and it is determined to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003. A copy of the reasoned decision will be provided without undue delay. If the premises user would like to appeal against this decision, such appeal must be made to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days from the date of notification of the full decision, but in any event no later than 5 working days before the start of the proposed temporary event. The full decision will show our reasoning. Thank you. We are now at the end of our committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.